Here's module 32, dealing with money, output, and prices in the long run. What you're going to see in this module is that we're going to show you what happens between the short run and the long run. So right now, we talked about money supply, adding more money into the system. If the Fed decides to add more money into the system, what's going to happen? Well, they're going to lower interest rates, right? That's going to come down. And then what's going to occur is people are going to demand more. So you can see on this graph, aggregate demand shifts to the right. So if we were in that long run equilibrium and full employment, if that's where we were, what we're going to see now is the curve shifting to the right, which is going to cause a little bit of an inflationary gap. Why? Well, because people are going to borrow money because the money is cheaper, because there's more money in the system. So as this happens, we know what the long run adjustment process is. Short run aggregate supply, as you're in this inflationary gap, employers are going to say, hey, you know what? I can't pay you that much. Or people are going to demand higher wages because they know that we're over here. We're beyond full employment. So because they're going to demand these higher wages and employers are like, ugh, I don't want to have to pay, but I guess okay. Then as they start paying people those higher wages, what we're going to see is short run aggregate supply shift to the left. So here we added more money into the system, and yes, it did cause that aggregate demand to shift over, but as a long run adjustment process, it really didn't do anything, because in the long run, we're just going to come back to our long run aggregate supply curve. So when people talk about using monetary policy to fix the economy, it's a short-term fix. Now this, aggregate demand is going to shift over for sure. How long is it going to be before the suppliers shift to the left? It might be a while. So it's going to work, at least in the short run. But as people adjust and as everything kind of shakes itself out, we're going to find all it's going to do is add to more inflated prices, right? So over here, price level is going to increase as we see that money supply enter into the market. So what does that tell us? That tells us basically that money is neutral. What is money neutrality? Well, it just simply states that as we add more money into the system, it's not really going to do anything. The more money that we add into the system is going to say, like if we double the prices of everything, and then I also double your wages on everything, it turns out it's going to be the same effect. So as that occurs, money policy, monetary policy is going to make a short run fix, but not really a long run fix. All it's going to do is probably lead to more inflation if you're deciding to add in. If you're going to take money out, it's going to be the opposite. There's your money neutrality idea. If you think about what's going to happen to the money supply then in the long run, well, my money supply starts out as this line. We decided to add money in, let's say. So targeting that lower federal funds rate, we added more money into the system. It came down our demand curve. Well, what's going to happen? Those low interest rates are only going to last for a short period of time, because eventually you're seeing this like lower interest rate, and people are going to want that, take advantage of that. They're going to want to borrow. They're going to go buy new stuff or invest in their business. You're going to see that money demand shift to the right, and we're going to go right back to the same interest rate and where it was. So even though we added more money into the system, all that's going to occur is we're also going to demand more money in the system. That's the concept. So if you're thinking about using monetary policy to add or take money out of the overall economy, it's going to work in the short run, but in the long run, it's going to be kind of a wash, because everything's going to end up neutraling itself out. Make sure you do your packet for this section, and then make sure you log in to your saplings and you do your own online assignments there too. Till next time.